Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. I cannot believe how much interaction we got with this video. Okay, the one where I was asking you all, what are you gonna do to feed yourselves once your prep foods run out? And as you can see, I titled this video Prep Now so that you don't have to eat your pets. And the reason I titled this video like that is because I had a lot of comments that stipulated that they would never ever eat their pets. And I really understand that. That's the last thing you want to do. I had some disturbing comments, but comments that seem like they're pretty honest, you know? So, and I just wanted to point out something to you all, because I did get a couple of comments that were, you know, not very good comments, you know. But I did put this, I think I linked this on that video, and it says, "This thought experiment is not intended to depress you or make you feel hopeless. Instead, it is intended to get you motivated to prep so that the scenario I depicted in this video is not realized. In other words, prep more than what you think you're going to need." And that was the intent of the video. That was the intent of the question. I wanted to give you guys an impossible question to answer, because what would you do if you had no more food that you prepped? If we had a year without a summer where food could not be produced, where, you know, there was not enough vegetation, where there was not enough animals for you to hunt, what would you do? Ladies and gentlemen, that would only leave us a couple of choices, all of which are not good choices to have. So why put yourself in a predicament of not having enough when you have time now to prepare? Now, how do we know what enough is? Honestly, we don't. We don't. However, there's one thing that I know, is that I can always do something more than what I've done. All right? It doesn't matter what your socioeconomic status is. You can always do a little more. All right? You can always do a little bit more. Okay? Even if it takes taking all your pennies that you've saved for the last couple of months and buying a couple of pounds of pasta when it's on sale. Even if it takes that. Okay? So, first of all, ladies and gentlemen, let me see here. I'm probably not going to make this video more than an hour, maybe a little over an hour long, because I really don't want to beat this to death, because a lot of the comments are alike. Okay? So I'm going to try to go through a lot of comments. If you see that I bypassed one of your comments, don't take it personal. It's probably because it was a comment that has already been read from someone else that's very similar. Okay, but as you can see here, I think this is probably one of the videos that I've gotten the most comments on. And I think it's great, because not only did we have a lot of comments saying I would never eat my dog, I would never do this or that, but we have a lot of comments in here with some good ideas. And that was what I was looking for. I was looking for people to comment to give us ideas. Well, instead of running out of food, this is what I do. I do this or this or that. I'm not going to say what I remember reading, because I don't want to give it away. I'll just read it. But that's what I was looking for, is for people thinking out of the box. People saying to themselves, okay, if I found myself in that scenario, if I had the foresight, if I can look ahead in time and see myself in that scenario, what would I do different today to make sure that I can soften the blow should something like that ever happen? That is really what I was looking for. That's what I was looking for people to comment on. And let's go ahead and start it off. And like I said, if there's not too much content to the comment, I'm just gonna go ahead and read it and carry on. So Ziggy7, and I've read. I want to say that I've read about 95% of these comments because some of them are pretty new. You can see these guys here are 1 day old. But there may be some that I haven't read. So if I come across one that's somewhat inappropriate, I'll just stop and carry on, okay? If the power grid, Ziggy784 says, if the power grid goes down, then 90% of the people will die within the first year. People should be planting food trees in the wild and everywhere else. Great advice. And I want to add to this that if we do have a year without a summer, fruit trees are not going to die. Okay? Fruit trees, they may not produce that year, or they may not produce as much or very little, but they're not going to die. They're going to go ahead and make it through the next year. All right? So that's a great comment, Ziggy. Thank you for that. This is a great comment here by Ranik. What will you do when all of the food you prepare runs out? It happens every week. I have to go to the store and resupply every week. There you go. He's got a plan, ladies and gentlemen. Ranik's got a plan. Kentucky Survival. I'm going to have to get back to this one. I really do like you a lot. I have to go back on your CME one and read. Okay, so. And Kentucky says, I don't know about there, but we had a year without a summer this year. Penty Survival, where? Because I know that we had a very bad year as far as crop production this year, but we were still able to produce. Desi says, this is a hard one. By the time your food runs out, so will the wild game. Very good point. Ladies and gentlemen, in the United States, the last time I read these statistics, which was probably a couple of years ago, I'm thinking it hasn't changed that much. But the last time I read in the United States, or at least in the lower 48, there's about 30 million deer. Okay, and I think I've mentioned this before in one of my previous videos. There's about 30 million deer in the United States. There's 300 plus million people in the continental U.S., right, in the lower 48. How long do you think 30 million deer will last? In addition to all of the hog farms, cow farm, things like that, depending on the crisis, would depend on how long those resources will last as well. All right. Let's say, for example, we had a complete grid failure. Those cows would probably end up starving to death before they can all be processed. Same thing with the pigs and chickens, etc. Because all of those mega farms, they rely on delivery systems in order to get food to the cows and to the pigs and chickens. They also rely on machinery that uses fuel, that uses GPS, and all things like that. And that's just the things that I can think of. I'm sure there's a lot more logistical issues that they would have to deal with if the grid goes down. That would probably make it pretty close to impossible, if not impossible, for them to get those cattle slaughtered and properly packed and preserved. And also think about shipping. There would be no such thing as shipping lanes if we had a total grid failure. So let's see. Unless you hunt, fish, and preserve it, not everyone can have chickens, rabbits, and a couple of goats. And not everyone could have a pond that is stocked. Those are all things I would like to get within this year. And that's a great goal. That's actually a very great goal. What Dusty here is saying is, this is what she's saying. Shorting it down, narrowing it down. She wants to become more self-reliant. Okay, that's what she's saying. Corsair here says that being that they're on the coast, they would utilize the ocean to find more food. And that would be fine too in a perfect world. But one thing that people that live on the coast that think that they're going to live off the ocean, one thing that I don't think they realize is this. And what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen, here is a catastrophic SHTF, okay? All right, because if everyone in the U.S. was running out of food, we're obviously in some kind of catastrophic SHTF, right? So for people that live on the coast, what do you think is going to happen to the coastline, to those waters in the coastline after, let's say, a few months of no grid power? What do you think will infiltrate those coastlines? I think that the coastlines will become highways for pirates. Think about that. How safe will you be out there in a little fishing boat, or even in a big fishing boat? All right, in a total grid down situation. Let's see. Scott Jerry, I guess if all the animals are gone and twigs and berries just aren't doing it, I guess I will be eating humans. Sounds bad, but what will you do when you are starving? Horrible way to die. You ever been real hungry? I have. You will eat anything, trust me. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a very honest answer. And we don't like to hear this stuff. We don't like to hear this stuff because we have human beings, I think, are intrinsically moral. I think that we are born with a moral compass that allows us to know what is right and wrong. You know? But and that's why I think we don't like to hear things like this. But this person is being real honest. And the truth of the matter is this, as far as I'm concerned, I personally don't know what I would do. That is why I am so bent on prepping. That is why I want to be as prepared as I possibly can, because I never want to see myself in that situation. You know, and then if I have 5 years worth of food storage and the crisis lasts 7 years, then I guess it was God's will to only allow me to have 5 years of food storage and the crisis lasts 7 years. Then I guess I'll have to wait and figure it out. But I'm not going to stop trying to get as prepared as I can for whatever happens. It's like I said before, ladies and gentlemen, I don't want those of you hearing this to become, you know, depressed at life, because you shouldn't be. You should be happy that you've been given this time to prepare. And I'm not saying either, I want to make sure that people understand that my life is not about prepping. All right? I prep so that I can have a good life should something happen that is out of my control. I prep so that I can have the peace of mind to ensure that my family is well during times of crises. I don't prep in hopes that crises occur. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think that if you prep with that attitude, you will be okay. Okay, next one, off-grid prepper. You grow all your food. That is, I keep 5 years on my truck and all other gear. My hundreds of packs of food seeds and all kinds wake up call. I'm sorry, off-grid, I can't. I'll try. And you should have a few years of dry dog food in your home or truck. I do. Water, 25 gallons. Always, nowhere, spring water. Okay. So pretty much off-grid prepper saying have a lot of food. Have a lot of everything you need. Which, good. That's a good way to go. JT says, I guess I'll have to start collecting acorns, cattails, saw palmetto, dandelion, and other vegetation the land provides. Thin out the fish, squirrel, and bunny population. I'll save the possum for last. Yeah, actually, I've heard that possum is pretty good eating. I've never had it before, though. Thank the Lord, I don't eat much normally. I read that females can tolerate hunger better than males. I am not even going to discuss my baby Katie. She'll be fed before I do. Oh, bless you, JT. There you go. So there's a lot of ideas. And that's what I want to get out of this video, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of ideas coming out that maybe you, on a personal basis, did not think about. But now you can hear it and let it ring let us say, wow, I never thought about that. Powell Family says, look to what's going on in South Africa and all around the world. Lots of lessons to be learned from what's going on. You never know what you will do until the time comes. Prep, 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 and then prep some more. I like that. The first noob says, eat what you grow. Greenhouses are easy to build. With crop loss, ours will go up soon. Yes, greenhouses is a good thing to have. Let's talk about prepping, says. Massive seed sprout production and grub insect farming. Hey, that's a great comment. That's a great idea. Seed sprout. So if you guys can store a lot of seed sprouts, which store pretty easily, and they're pretty compact to store, and you can also raise crickets and insects. I myself had not really thought about that. I was thinking about raising like crickets so I can feed my chickens, but that's the same concept in a way. It will taste like a banquet after the dog food has run out, and maybe save you from the other dog food. Yep. CT Rock, depends if you want to live or not. If you have loved one to take care, then you will kill or eat anything to survive. I'm talking about even eating human. People said they don't eat their pets because right now their stomach are full. Wait until they don't have anything to eat or drink for 5 days or more. Okay. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, this is a question that's pretty impossible for anyone to really answer 100%, because we are not facing a situation like that. Thank goodness that we're not. But it's something that allows you to look inside yourself and maybe think about what would you do. Hope Eliu says, hope people are gathering seeds and learning to grow their own food, as well as strap some rabbits to keep and breed for food. Okay, rabbits is a very good and efficient way to grow protein. And they pretty much eat anything that's a vegetable or a fruit. I think. I've never grown rabbits, although I do want to. Salo Brena says, I just bottled up some rice today and I started to really look at what I had. And even though it looks like I have a lot, I got a little freaked out. I will have to step it up. At least rice with spices and some raisins and chilies and eggs can make a nice meal. Absolutely. Okay, William Swan says, what you do is clean and cook the tax collector and feed yourself and your dog. Okay, let us know what kind of spices you use for that, William. I think William was trying to be funny there. Little Blessing says, if I would go to the store... Oh, no, I think Little Blessings here is talking, maybe commented on the wrong video about the 72 hours CME. Ram1 here says, dogs are fully capable of hunting on their own. This is how it was done back in the day. Your dog can feed you. Very good. Yep. I guess if you train your dogs to do that, honestly, my dogs probably... Well, you know what? I think that they would probably hunt, because I know that I've seen them eating some fowls in my backyard before. You know, fowls, they're like little mice. I'm not sure why they don't just call them mice. For some reason, they're fowls here. But they're like little mice, and I've seen them eating fowls in the backyard before. They actually looked like they were enjoying them. Curtis says, I live in the Rocky Mountain area. We have elk, deer, turkey, rabbits, and trout. We are not stressed out about food. We are worried if we get enough toilet paper. There you go. Okay, so Paco here says, I think you're asking the wrong question. Okay, let's see. Assuming a prepper has both the money to purchase a long-term food supply and a place to store it, food is the easiest issue to address in a long-term situation. 10 years worth of food will be of little use to you if you can't defend it. Okay, so that wasn't, with all due respect, Paco, that wasn't the question though. We weren't talking about defending the food. We were talking about what will you do to feed yourself should your food run out. Okay, we all know that well, at least you've heard me say before. I can't say we all know. At least you've heard me say before in this channel that there is a purpose for the third B of prepping, and that is to defend yourself, your family, and your preps. Let's see, J Bazan 11. I would say start dehydrating meats and veggies, if possible, counting as much as you can. Survival depends on preparedness, even though no one, no matter how much you have stored, is or will ever be prepared for SHTF. That's a good point, J Bazan 11. I think that no matter how well prepared you are, you're not going to be prepared for a real SHTF. All right. I think that your preps are going to be able to give you a cushion so that you can adjust to the new reality that you're in. And it'll give you a cushion so that you can adjust to that new reality. So that's a good point. KT, we live in an apartment. Okay, I'm not sure what that means. Hawaii volcano. My plan to deal with bad neighbors by stealing their food near the start of SHTF when they are out if possible, and then let nature take its course. Meanwhile, bought a few. Okay, Hawaii volcano. So you're planning to thin out your bad neighbors by stealing their food when they're out. Okay, I'm sorry. I just had to laugh at that one. But Hawaii volcano did say it. However, Hawaii volcano is prepping by buying more number 10 cans of Mountain House. All right. Okay, LRT says they're going to prepare as much as possible. I'm going to start going through these a little quick, ladies and gentlemen, because we're already about 20 minutes in, and I really want to be able to get to as much good comments here as we can. Denise says, hunt fish, bugs, weeds, get books now. Yes, get books now so you can learn what you can get, what you can eat. That's something that I have to work on, actually. Ann Quinn says, this may sound silly, but there are usually many small rodents around. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, people will eat mice. Okay? I've seen plenty of video. I haven't seen it with my in live person, but I believe that they were doing it. I've seen plenty of video of some people in destitute countries in Africa who actually set mouse traps so that they can eat the mice. Okay, Lee Chalk says, I live in the Cascadian Mountains of British Columbia, Canada. I won't wait for my supplies to run out. I will harvest the wild game in my area and try to use up the wild edibles to supplement my prep foods. There are so many mule deer and elk. Yes, okay. So you're going to try to get by with the resources in your area. Shannon says, I would hope that I could continue to grow food and preserve the harvest. Another thing to consider when gardening is to grow vertically if necessary. Dana. Okay, that's about CME. Dana says, I'll do what I already do, raise my garden and raise cattle panel greenhouse. I think a greenhouse is going to be very important, ladies and gentlemen, because if we do have a year without a summer, I think your greenhouse will allow you to grow some things. Joe says, at my house, it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. I meant to say our pets may turn on you and eat you. It has happened. Yeah, I don't think domesticated animals will turn on you and eat you unless they're a really big animal. Thomas says, in an SHTF situation, I think starvation will be the best way to die compared to being shot, gassed, or burned. Well, I don't know. I've never really starved, as you can see. but I really don't want to find out. Dawn here says my front porch is south facing and will make a good greenhouse. Good. Mr. Kezer Drick says learn how to raise chickens. Learn how to make a maggot feeder for them. Have you guys ever heard of a maggot feeder? You'll need a way to turn looters into safe food. Okay, there you go. I think that's what Mr. K is talking about, a maggot feeder. You'll need a way to turn looters into safe food, and that would do it. Yeah, prepper in progress. I one of my goals is I don't know if I'll get to it this year. I really do hope. Every year I set a goal for myself on what I'm going to get done on the house and the property, and I never get it all done. But one of my goals is to do a prepper room. I think it's going to be so awesome. I'm actually pretty excited. It's exciting just thinking about it. So I think it'll be great. Okay, Pamela says, as soon as something happens, we need to start rotating, hunting, gathering wild edibles, and preserving them from the start. A greenhouse is a must. Be prepared and not scared. But if your family is starving, I think people will do things they normally wouldn't. That's what I'm trying to get at, ladies and gentlemen. Prepare now. Prep now, okay? So that you don't have to find yourselves in a situation like this. Imagine trying to pull security and find food at the same time. Imagine trying to secure your home at the same time that you're starving. Why not have food so that you can be strong enough to secure your home? Gay says, Happy New Year from Texas with love. Happy New Year, Gay. Cable Girl here says, I would start rationing immediately, regardless of situation, when you need to have started or starting growing food inside. I think that's a great idea to start rationing what you have immediately. Because, ladies and gentlemen, as you all know, here in the United States, most of us are overweight. And that's just a fact. A lot of people like to blame the actual people, which we ourselves do have control over what we put in our mouths or not. Some people have less control than others depending on their socioeconomic status. Okay, and then in addition to that, the foods that we are putting in our mouths that come from big agriculture maybe is not the best food that we could be eating, so it's not as nutritious. So there can be a lot of arguments as to why America has become as obese as it has, but the truth is that rationing is not going to kill anyone. You know, living on a lower caloric intake, it's not going to kill you. So I think that's a great idea. And this is the time to do it, ladies and gentlemen. Stephanie here says, you said that food will never get cheaper. I like to hear that. I think that's the truth. I mean, food is only really getting more expensive. I've noticed it in the commissary on base where I do some shopping. Right? Even there, some food has gone. Like, I remember I got a jar of peanut butter for $3.50, and it was actually one of the bigger jars. I think like the 40-ounce jars, which that's a great deal. Like $3.57 or something like that. Not more than 2 weeks later, it's already over $4. All right, I think it's starting to reach the $4.50 mark. All right, and they've only been selling that brand of peanut butter there for probably 6 months, maybe, if not less. Hans says, don't stop buying food. I've started on a small-scale aquaculture operation. I will scratch, claw, and fight to survive. Good. That's a good point, ladies and gentlemen. You have to have the will to survive. Those that are just saying, I'm just going to lay down and die, well then, more likely that's what's going to happen. Thank you, Danielle. Daniel Frost, thank you for your comment. That's very nice. Daniel says here, here in the U.S., we are not that many years removed from a time when the threat of perishing from a lack of food was a reality because of war on economic hard times. Yep, that's true. And one of the mistakes I think that we make here in the U.S., ladies and gentlemen, is casting the elderly to the side. I love talking to people that have experienced life. You know, I like talking to older people. You know, people that are, I love talking to like World War II vets or people that maybe lived through the Depression. I know that they're very few in between now, but I think that the way that we've turned in this country into pushing the elderly to the side is such a big mistake because they hold so much, they have so much value in the information that they have in their heads. It's like we should be talking to them. We should be learning from them, you know. And not only is that good for us, but it's good for them too because, you know, when you're 80 years old and you're in a darn home, you know, because your kids put you there, you know, sharing your knowledge with other people really brings you joy. At least I think so, all right? Because I've actually gone to elderly homes in the past and sat there and talked with people that, you know, were residents there. And it just brings a light to their eye to be able to tell you their stories, their experiences, and you can learn a lot from them. Okay, Charles here has a great suggestion. Since all of us subs are members of your prepper family, can't we just stay with you when our food runs out? So I was going to say, come on over, Charles. I've always said that I've had some comments in the past where I remember this gentleman, and he wasn't being rude or anything, but I remember him saying, why would you be putting your preps out there for everyone to see? Isn't that like one of the first rules of prepping is to not put yourself out there? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I feel that I have, you know, I'm not going to get all fancy on you, but I feel that I have somewhat of a calling. You know, it's in me. It's always been in me to try to help people. I like people. I like interacting with people. I like talking, obviously. All right. And I've always said that, I think I commented to that gentleman. I said, listen, I've got subscribers from Singapore, from Spain, from Australia, from the UK, from Dominican Republic, from New York, from Texas, from everywhere in the country. I said, if the SHTF really happens and you can make it here from Texas or California or New York, if you can escape and evade, you know, through an SHTF scenario and make it here, all you have to do is give me your name. Say, hey, I'm Charles Baker. And I'm like, Charles Baker from my YouTube channel? Yeah, come on in, brother. I got room for you. If you can make it through all that, I've got room for you. Definitely. So that's the reply I give. And that's why I did this, Paula. That's why I wanted to do this video. And Paula says, after reading all the comments, so many awesome suggestions. All right, but what if the forests and animals are contaminated like in a nuclear war or volcano? I guess maybe we migrate. I have no idea. I don't know what we would do in that situation, Paula. We would have to do whatever we had to do to survive. But I do know that having more preps, even in that situation, you'd be a lot better off than most people would. Paula says you can't eat grass. Well, I think you can eat grass. How good would it be for you? I don't know, but I'm sure that you can eat grass. It probably won't be very good for you because it just doesn't really digest very well. When I was little, I asked my great aunt about that. She starved during a war. She said that eating grass makes you get, I don't know what the name of that disease is, edema, and they stop peeing and it kills you. Yep, science says you can't digest it and you'll die. Okay, well maybe you can boil it down and get whatever nutrients out of it you can. I don't know. All right, I absolutely don't know, but that's good to know though. Lastly, I want to say, trust God. He saved people many times, and Christ fed 5,000 with a few loaves and fishes. And absolutely, all right, ladies and gentlemen, obviously this is not a religious based channel, but I've said it before that I have a creator that I pray to, and I think that it's important for people to have that connection. All right, whatever the name of your creator is, it's okay, whatever it is. I think that it's important for us to have a spiritual connection. Some people don't, and that's okay if you don't. Personally, I think that we were made to have free will, and in using your will, if you don't want to believe one thing or another, then you obviously don't have to. Jano, I thought about this on definitely more than one occasion. What would I do? The situation, production of foods come to a grinding halt for more than a month, and I'm forced to consume things I have stashed away for a rainy day. I run through all these possible scenarios in my head. After a small scroll, he says he's gonna hunt wild game, hunt small game like squirrels and birds. Okay. Okay, so Wendy here is Gibson girl now. She says she can't talk about the dogs because her dogs are her family. And yes, absolutely. And that's what I want you guys. That's one of the things that I want to put forth here is think about the terrible things that would happen if you're not prepared. That's what I want to put forth. Think about the things that would happen. How would life be if you were not prepared? I want this video to inspire you to want to prep. I don't want to scare you into prepping. I want to inspire you to want to prep. All right? Because then you won't have to bring yourself to doing things that you would not do normally. Velma have considerable microgreens, sprouting, and aquaponics. Yep. That's probably a very good lesson to learn, or a good skill to have is aquaponics. Let's see. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to start skipping some because it's getting late for me. I don't want to make this too long. Let's see. It's so funny that you say this because I was just thinking, no matter how prepared you are, eventually it will be gone. I am an avid gardener. I could be a vegetarian, and there are wild edibles. I could not eat my pets. I really could not. They are family. They hunt and bring me back rabbits. That's awesome. That is a great thing to do. Okay. Hey, let us know how you like that red feather butter, old man. Old man is saying that he's getting a case of red feather butter. Let us know how you like it. The Angry Canuck says that he's got fishing, gardening, and livestock. He's not worried. Hey, if you're not worried, it means you're probably pretty well prepped. And I'm not being sarcastic. If you're not worried about something like this happening, you are probably pretty well prepped. Okay? So if you think you're prepped enough, then good for you. That's awesome. Sheriff here says that if it comes to it, that he will eat his pets. Dark Age Ramblings says, I know that I am woefully unprepared. Approved apartment for a family of 4, especially when my son is a picky eater. I can grow fruit and vegetables. I have 4 chickens for eggs, and I plan on getting rabbits for meat. I am prepared with food in the cupboard for 6 weeks. Hey, that's Dark Age Ramblings, brother. That is better than most people in the U.S. Myself, my wife can eat rice. You guys can't eat rice. So he's saying he can't eat rice. For long-term plans are trapping, fishing, foraging. And Dark Age Ramblings is planning on moving out to the country. That's great. I hope that nothing happens, period. But I hope that you have the opportunity to move out there, DAR. Zach here says that you can grow indoors. You can raise potbelly pigs instead. Wow, that is a great. I didn't think about that. You can raise potbelly pigs. It's probably a faster turnover for meat production, but I'm not sure though. I've never raised pigs. Think outside the box. Winter fruits and veggies do well without a summer. Potatoes, carrots, peas, garlics grow in cold temperature. Peaches, apples. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. So you see, that's great. That's a great comment right there. There's actually a lot of things that would still grow in a colder environment. And Zach also says that they strengthen your community. All right, and that is true. Okay, so WZ Rubicon says your preps are meant to be supplemented by hunting and growing. Not to mention anyone who has never lived on a farm, grown their own food, or hunted will be dead anyways. No matter how much they prep, store-bought food, you will die. Okay. I'd say you will do whatever it takes to survive. That was Tightwad Christian Outdoors. Okay, so Modern Refugee says, this is my opinion, but if we are to a point where preppers are running out of food, there is going to be a lot less people in the world. Great point. This may free up some foraging opportunities. Growing a garden should include cold, hardy vegetables. The Doritos may be gone, but a bucket of dried field corn may be available. That's a great point. Great point. If we do get to that point, there probably won't be that many people. And that's one of the things, ladies and gentlemen, as I said before, and as this gentleman here said, WZ, that preps should be supplemented with other things that you're actively doing. So if you know that there is a crisis going on that's going to last a long time, don't just live on your preps. Go out and hunt. Go out and forage for food so that it can supplement what you have. It'll make it last longer. Doug here says that the body can last 40 days without food before it starts to eat itself. I forgot what this video was, but I did go take a look at this video. Oh, okay, this is Holodomor, I think. If you guys click on this link, it just gives you a definition, and I believe the definition of that word is Holodomor is what do you call it? Is genocide by starvation, I believe it is. Raise rabbits, they reproduce like rats, good. Maida here says that she's going to get her fishing pole and hunting traps, and she's going to get grabbits and grow things indoor. Good. Okay, here, Shane Sanders says, I think there will be more food than we expect. A CME hits the U.S. I would say 20 to 30% of the population will perish, and I would say more than 40% plus all the people who exist because of the grid. They will perish because they... So he's pretty much saying that there's going to be a lot less people. So there should be more food. I think that's what I got out of that. Thank you, Iris. Do not put all your preps in one place. That's a good recommendation as well. Okay, Clemens says here that many will perish from radiation, poisoning. That's if there was a nuke explosion. Jamie says, rice, and more rice, folks. Store it properly and sit by the fire and eat the rice alongside your pets. $15 for a 50-pound bag at Sam's Club. Ladies and gentlemen, you listen to that? $50 for 80,000 calories worth of nutrition. $15 for 80,000 plus calories worth of nutrition. This is the time that we are supposed to be prepping. Sky Blue says, I think we are only delaying the inevitable by prepping. I don't know. I don't think I agree with that. I'd rather have a chance. Ron Schaefer says, keep your canners. They will be busy. And they will pay off in the end. Yes, I agree with that. D. Leb says, great topic. Always have backups for everything. My husband has been gardening since he was a child and has always had productive gardens. However, this past year was the worst year we have had in 20 years. There's not much rain. Weather patterns are changing. Yes. Robert Trujillo here told me if the series Naked and Afraid could be used in this example. However, they had a choice to quit the endurance trial. Yeah. I've really never watched that video, that series Naked and Afraid. I don't really have like cable TV, so I've heard of it and I've seen like short clips, but I've never really taken a look at it. Rebecca says, my home is a big Faraday cage, already metal beams, metal roof inside. Let's see, forest. Okay, I have found for me and 2 dogs. I not getting this. Maybe that spell correct or something was on. So Rebecca says she could hunt from her front door. There's turkey there every day. Yeah, but Rebecca, the question is if something like a major crisis does happen where food becomes scarce, how many other people are going to probably be coming and hunting turkeys as well? So prep. This guy here makes a great point. I have my own herd of cats for food later. He says the Chinese eat them. You know, he was trying to be funny here, but you know that different cultures eat different things. For example, in India, they don't eat beef. And to us, we love beef. I love beef. You know, I like the way it tastes. I like a nice steak every once in a while. I like ground beef for this and that, whatever. They don't eat beef in India. When they see us eat beef, they look at it just the same as when we see a Chinese person kill a dog and eat it. They look at us the same way. I think, because they don't eat beef. It's against their religion. Okay, Mary says here, we are realistic. Since we are both retirees nearing 70, our chances of hunting are poor. By the time our food stockpiles run out, the local wild game will be all gone. Same with nearby fishing. Maybe if our garden isn't ruined by a nuclear winter, okay, that's not a nuclear war, or just normal winter freezes, we might have enough to carry us for a few months. Okay, so there you go. Let me see. I want to finish reading this. Not much wild plants to eat here in the scrubby Central Florida forest. Probably our best bet trading for food. We have a lot of hand tools, cookware. Mary, what I would ask is, do you have family or community? All right, because in a situation like yours, all right, where you're getting a little bit up there in age, which 70 is really not extremely old in these days that we live in today, but when you're getting up there a little bit in age, do you have community around you? Because with all of the experience that you and your husband have in planting, gardening, canning, stuff like that, I'm pretty sure that you would be a valuable asset to a group of people that are trying to survive. Raise bunnies and sprout seeds. I'm going to go by these really quick, ladies and gentlemen, because I am really running out of time. I've got less than 5 minutes. And honestly, I know that I've made videos before that are over an hour, but I have to get ready for work. So let's see. My youngest daughter and I started indoor gardening. Okay, indoor gardening. Ladies and gentlemen, I recommend that you come back to this video and take a look at a lot of these comments. There are very, very good recommendations here. Glenn says, don't use the "I don't have the room" excuse. Several years ago, our family of 5 lived in an above the garage apartment, so we could save money to buy a house we wanted. Space we wanted space, acreage, several water sources. Oh, wow. Okay, I'm gonna keep on, because if I can't make too much sense of the words, I know that autocorrect sometimes messes things up. My mom said during World War II in the Philippines, they had to escape to the mountains. They were so hungry that they dug roots up to eat them, and they also ate the banana trees. There you go. Native Americans lived off acorns and roots found in the woods. No food is the nightmare scenario. Fighting off violent hordes will be extremely difficult. Yes. If winter ice fishing or ice fishing trapping. I grow year round in a house. He grows inside his house. I have also non-GMO seeds. And he caught 20 mice. Wow, that's good. That's probably one of the things I would do around here if it was getting like that. I would just start catching fowls and real small rodents. Voodoo Kitchen Mama says, I thought a year's worth was enough since I live in Florida and the food grows year round. But I thought if there's a crop failure or weather issues, I would be in trouble. Now I think 2 years is better. There you go. Jamie says, I can honestly say I will not eat my pet. We have just one dog and she's not that big either, LL. I mean, after you eat your pet, then what? You know? You lie there and starve thinking about you just ate your pet. Let's see. I'm fixing to put another ton of rice up. $700 is not bad. Man, Jamie, that is awesome. That is a ton of rice. Gosh, that is awesome. You just made me jealous. Rhonda Richter says, when you are poor, it is hard to prep, but I do. Every extra dime I get, I buy food. I'm 67. I live in north central Wisconsin, and I do this for my grandchildren. That is awesome. Thank you, Anak Cooley. Thank you. We have a new subscriber here, ladies and gentlemen. Anak Cooley. Thank you for subscribing. And let me go ahead and throw this in there. Not only thank you for subscribing, but make sure, make sure that you take advantage of this resource that you're seeing right here, if you're seeing this video. All these people here, all of our community members, which you are now a part of, look at how interactive we are and how willing we are to share with each other information that we've acquired through our years of experience. Okay, so take advantage of that. And if you have experience, please share it with us. David said, another great thought experiment, AP, and scary to think about. Indeed it is. LCJC family, I started to dehydrate frozen veggies and put them in Mylar bags, meats as well. I have also been making my own dehydrated meals. That's good. I mean, that's a great thing to be able to do. If you can do that and do it in mass, you know, and put away a lot, that's a great thing. I really like canning, so I think I'm going to ramp up my meat canning and my protein canning, because I really like doing that, and I think that packing away a lot of meat will be a big deal. will be a very good thing. Maria S says, I don't want to think about that. I don't want to think about eating my pets or my husband. I didn't say anything about your husband, Maria. Vincent, what will you do? What will you do when all the food you have prepped is run out? Good question. You may want to get a job in the zoo, but please save the wild boar for me. It sounds like Vincent likes wild boar. Old man says a dog can tell you if that person is a friend or acting. Yes, dogs have very good intuition. Alright, I'm almost done here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to go ahead and speed it up here. Okay, Nashville says, a video about eating our pets? Seriously? Let's not go there. This video, Nashville, Tennessee, this video is not about eating your pets. Okay, so gardening from my stored seeds, hunt meat with rifles and ammunition, fishing. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I wouldn't recommend this, but I don't know, maybe it works. I'm just going to start eating dirt and hope over time I can digest it. I know there's a bunch of minerals in it that I'm sure is healthy at some point. Other than that, I'm SOL. I love food. But not joking, it's good to know that plants are... It's good to know what plants... Okay, so the skinny was joking. Alright. I'm like, I don't know if I would start... I don't know. You don't know, ladies and gentlemen. You don't know what you would do. Eddie recommends knowing a lot about wild edibles as well. Westwind Survival says, prepare the best that you can for the darkness by staging all of your preps. Make makeshift Faraday cages in the first 72 hours. Collect rain. Okay, so I think that Westwind is also commenting about the video about the coronal mass ejection. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. John D says, that's an awesome picture on the intro. And just in case you guys don't know, ladies and gentlemen, that picture there on this video, that was a picture of me in a really, really tall mountain in Afghanistan. And while I was in Afghanistan, I did a lot of climbing of a lot of tall mountains. And this was the first really tall mountain that I had to climb. I think it was about 10,700 feet or something like that to the summit. But if you look at that picture, you'll see that I don't have... The only real gear that I have on is my helmet, my flak jacket, and my firearm. Because we had to dress down as much as we could. Because it was such a steep and a tall rise to that mountain. It was... I wasn't really, obviously, really good shape back then, and even with as good a shape as I was in back then, we had to stop every 5, 6, 7 feet to stop and breathe, because you can literally feel the oxygen getting less and less the higher you went. So enough about that. Ladies and gentlemen, I really hope that you enjoyed this. I hope that you got something out of this thought experiment. I want to thank you very much for participating and for your very good recommendations. All right, I mean, there was a lot of comments in this video, and I think that is the best part of doing these things, of doing experiments, thought experiments like this, is that everyone participates, and in doing so, not only do they learn, but they can teach as well. All right. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. And really, there was only like maybe 1 or 2 comments that, really didn't add too much, because they were kind of like a little bit of a wise guy comment. But that's all right. That's all in good fun. We have to have a little bit of fun as well. Okay, it's not just about business. All right, because we're not just in the business of doing business. I'm gonna go ahead and take off. I'm starting to blab. So, ladies and gentlemen, again, thank you very much. I will be more than likely putting this video up for Sunday's session, or for Sunday's video. because I did tell you guys that I was going to do a Dominican rice video for Saturday. So I'm actually putting this video up before, or I'm video recording this video before doing the rice video. I'll probably be doing that tonight or tomorrow night, because today is Thursday. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you've been having a good week, or actually I hope you've had a good weekend, because when you see this video it will be Sunday. I hope that you've had a good weekend, and I hope that you have a good week ahead. Thank you very much for all of your support. Remember that if you want to support the channel, just take a look at the links below. I got my Amazon link, I got the SD Bullion link. Please let a couple of ads run through now and then to support the channel. If you have change in your pockets that you need to get rid of, I do have a Buy Me a Coffee link. And you can always do a super chat if you like. I'm looking into getting some Alaska Prepper stickers and maybe some cups, but I need to find a way that I can get them a lot cheaper than $15 for a cup plus shipping. That's ridiculous. I looked into that Teespring, I think it is, but even with me putting my profit down to zero, it's still costs almost $20 for a darn coffee cup. I wouldn't pay $20 for a coffee cup, and I wouldn't want you to. So what I think I will do is in the future, and this will be a work in progress, I may make some up locally and then just do giveaways. Or if I make some up locally, I'll let you know how much they cost me, and if you wanted to super chat me, I could send you one. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Only if you want one. It's not. I'm not trying to push this on anyone. All right. I'm not trying to push this on anyone. I know I've been asked a few times. I thought that maybe making up some stickers would be really cost effective, and you can super chat me a few dollars, and I can mail you one. And it shouldn't cost a lot to make stickers. But like I said, that'll be a work in progress. We'll talk about that later. It's not really on my priority list right now. So ladies and gentlemen, having said that, remember to be good to each other. When good people do good things happen. Remember to reach one, teach one, and repeat. If we all did this, the world would be a better place, and you know that it will be a better place. Many blessings to every one of you and your families. This is Alaska Prepper, and I'm out.